Welcome to another deep dive. Today we're taking a plunge, really, into one of humanity's oldest quests, philosophy itself. Forget the dusty textbooks for a sec. We're talking about, our species' drive to understand reality, our place in it. What does it all mean? The big question we're asking is, how can this ancient love of wisdom still unlock new ways for you to think about our world today? Okay, so let's unpack this. Our goal is to get beyond just the simple definitions, look at its, well, surprising origins, the core questions, its global reach, really, and pull out those key insights that make it relevant for you right now.
Yeah, and what's really fascinating here, I think, is how understanding philosophy's roots, its different branches, it offers you a really powerful lens to view knowledge itself. This isn't just looking back at history. It shows how deeply ingrained this kind of inquiry is, across cultures, across time. It highlights the enduring importance, how timeless these basic questions really are.
I agree, totally. Let's start with the word philosophy itself, because even the terms, they hold some pretty deep insights, don't they? So in the West, you've got the Greek philosophia, means love for wisdom. Simple, but wow, profound, right?
Which is simple yet profound.
But then you look over to India, and the term is tattva darshana. And that translates roughly as a view of the suchness or thatness of existence as it is. That feels different.
It is different. It's not just chasing wisdom. It's about perceiving reality, its essence. Yeah, the scholar Pulatupati Raju, he defines darshana as a mental view of reality. That's a key distinction, I think. Think of it not like seeing with your eyes, a tree or whatever, but a deeper conceptual grasp, a way of perceiving existence from sort of within. And what's interesting is the sheer range under that umbrella. Philosophical theories can be spiritual, they can be materialistic, even atheistic or theistic. It's all about that internal view.
Right, that distinction, the mental view versus just sensory input. That leads us nicely to another term, metaphysics. Sounds heavy, right?
It can sound abstract, yeah.
But it's making this surprising comeback. If we look at the roots, the etymology, in Greek, it's meta meaning beyond or after, and physika meaning nature. So literally, it's an inquiry beyond nature.
Beyond nature, exactly.
And in Sanskrit,
it's known as anvikshiki, which means something like a perspective that follows some observation. Again, it implies looking deeper. And, historical definitions really show how highly regarded this was. Astrada, a Sanskrit grammarian, described it as hearing followed by seeing and completely engaged in the thinking about its purpose. Deep engagement.
wow.
And even more powerfully, Cotillions Arthashastra calls it the lamp of all sciences, the resource of all actions, and the shelter of all virtues.
The lamp of all sciences.
Yeah.
I mean, imagine thinking of it as the light guiding all knowledge.
Incredible reverence, yeah.
Okay, so here's where it gets really interesting for us today, I think, despite being kind of downplayed maybe in recent centuries.
Sidelined, almost.
Right. Metaphysics is seeing this, well, resurgence. Its relevance seems to be surging, especially with things like AI, quantum physics. It makes you wonder, why now? Why is this ancient inquiry suddenly feeling so vital again?
Well, I think it's because true philosophy, as Swami Abhedananda put it really insightfully, it has these three core functions that speak directly to these new complexities. First, it coordinates the ultimate results from special branches of knowledge, science, to form the widest generalizations possible. It's about synthesis, seeing the big picture from the science.
Okay, so connecting the dots from science.
Exactly. Second, it investigates the realm of knowledge and traces its source. Epistemology, basically.
Right.
Super crucial for figuring out what's reliable information, especially now. Right?
Oh, absolutely. More vital than ever.
And third, it leads our minds into the realm of the absolute, towards that highest state of consciousness, call it God, truth, ultimate reality, whatever term works. And these functions are exactly what we need when AI is making us question consciousness, or quantum physics is, blurring reality's edges.
That's a really profound link between these sort of abstract functions and our very real-world challenges. It connects beautifully, doesn't it, to the concept of jnana, wisdom, in Sanatana Dharma, which is built on three pillars. Yuki, which is reason.
Or reason.
Anubhava, that's experience.
Direct experience. Crucial.
And shraddha, which is often translated as faith, but maybe is more like trust or conviction born from the other two.
Exactly. It's not blind belief. It's this powerful combination, giving you a holistic, experience-driven wisdom.
So what does all this mean for you, the listener, pursuing knowledge today? How do we get that kind of wisdom?
Well, it suggests we're all kind of engaged in a graded inquiry into reality, maybe without even realizing it, much like Krishna Chandra Bhattacharya's 4 major grades of philosophical thought. First, there's the empirical level, observing the world through our senses. This maps to the Jagrat Avastha, the waking state. Simple observation.
Okay, waking state. Got it.
Second, pure objective thought. This is internalizing the world subjectively. Think of the Swapna Avastha, the dream state. You experience objects, but they're internal.
Right, like dream objects. Makes sense.
Third, spiritual thought. Here, the line between subject and object starts to blur, starts to vanish. This aligns with Sushupti Avastha, deep sleep. There's awareness, but duality fades.
Deep sleep. Interesting. Less separation.
Exactly. And finally, transcendent thought, the ultimate state, absolute truth. This corresponds to Turiya Avastha, that state of holistic consciousness, pure, unified awareness.
Wow, that's an incredible parallel. The idea that these philosophical grades line up so neatly with the four states of consciousness from the Mandukya Upanishad.
It's quite profound, isn't it?
It really is. It suggests philosophy isn't just theory. It's like baked into our actual experience.
Yeah.
And speaking of frameworks, let's map out the branches. Bhattacharya also had this broad classification, right? 3 major strains.
That's right. Broad strokes first.
Okay, first, object philosophy, Vastu Darshana. That's concerned with the objective side, like ontology, studying existence itself.
Correct. The what is out there question.
Second, subject philosophy, Atma Darshana, focused on the subjective side, like spirituality, the inner world.
The who am I question, essentially.
And third, truth philosophy, Satya Darshana, dealing with epistemology, the study of knowledge, how we know things.
The how do we know question, foundational categories. And within those broad areas, of course, you find all sorts of subdomains: cosmology, theology, ethics, aesthetics, hermeneutics, lots of ixonologies.
Yeah, lots of them.
But the key thing, as the sources stress, is that these are not watertight compartments. Philosophy is all interconnected. And metaphysics especially acts as this integrating sort of cross-cutting domain. It weaves through them all, always asking those fundamental why and what is ultimate reality questions.
That makes total sense. And, oh, this is interesting. It brings us to another branch.
Yeah.
Etymology itself.
Yes. Studying word origins.
Our sources say thought and word are always inseparable, and word and concept are again inseparable. So understanding the roots of terms, it's not just academic trivia, is it? It's actually a philosophical act. It deepens understanding.
Absolutely. It really does. Take ontology, study of being. Greek root points to being. But the Sanskrit, Sattva Vidya, study of the realm of reality, often implies something more experiential. See how language shapes the inquiry.
Yeah, subtle but important differences.
Or hermeneutics, the art of interpretation. It echoes the Sanskrit Mimamsa, which is this deep system for interpreting sacred texts.
Yeah.
Even something like eschatology, more common in the West, studying end times or collective destiny, it speaks to universal concerns, though maybe different from soteriology's focus on individual salvation. And the fact that we now talk about meta-ontology, examining ontology's foundations, or meta-metaphysics, looking at the bedrock of metaphysics itself, it just shows philosophers are still digging deeper, questioning the questions.
Okay, so we've got the structure, the branches. Now let's look at the global spread. Historically, people talk about Oriental or Eastern and accidental, meaning Western philosophies. Why make that distinction? And why might it be tricky?
Well, it's useful historically because these traditions sometimes started with different primary focuses, different questions maybe. So Oriental includes Indian traditions, Hinduism, Buddhism, Jainism, Sikhism, where even atheistic schools often fit within a wider spiritual context. Then you have Chinese philosophies, Taoism, Confucianism, Buddhism again, and Japanese ones like Shintoism, Buddhism. Rich and diverse.
No, that's the East.
Then on the Western or accidental side, ancient Greek, Jewish, Persian schools, then medieval Roman Christian, Arabic, Islamic thought, followed by modern European, postmodern, a whole different trajectory in some ways.
But, and this feels important, our sources really hammer this point, these categories are not watertight compartments. Swami Vivekananda talked about this, didn't he?
Yeah.
The different grandeur of East maybe focused on spirituality, liberation.
Then inner world focus.
Versus the West, often more focused on the material world, empirical stuff. But he called for their harmonizing and mingling. Said we need both.
Exactly. And another quote reinforces that. Orient and accidental are no more to be separated. It really emphasizes the need for an integral approach, which means, take every input, look at it closely, internalize it. Genuine inquiry needs that breadth. And you see this convergence happening. Look at philosophy of science. That's totally a global, cross-cutting domain now, bringing different perspectives together.
Right. And looking at this globally over time helps too. The sources mention four rough historical eras: axial age, plastic development, systematic philosophy, specialization, and globalization. But what strikes me most is this idea of parallel developments, things happening at the same time in different places.
Yes, the parallel developments idea is remarkable. You have this simultaneous flowering of deep thought east and west, often asking similar core questions even if the answers differed. Think Vedic, Upanishadic, Buddhist, Jain, Taoist, Confucian thought in the East.
While in the West,
You get pre-Socratics, classical Greek thinkers, Hellenistic schools, and it wasn't just parallel tracks in isolation. There was always some knowledge exchange, maybe indirect, but it was happening, enriching the whole human conversation.
and that exchange just keeps going, right? Through ancient, medieval, modern, contemporary times, we see figures like Descartes, the father of rationalism,
Big influence in the West.
shaping European thought, empiricism, idealism. While in the East, traditions like Yoga Vedanta kept evolving, and more recently things like analytical philosophy and now even digital age philosophy trying to tackle the very things we started with: AI, consciousness, the nature of information. It all connects back. So, wow, we've covered a lot of ground today. We've journeyed through philosophy's definition, core ideas like metaphysics, mapped out the branches, looked at its global spread, and traced its history. This deep dive, I hope, has given you a shortcut to really getting a handle on this foundational human endeavor, connecting that ancient love of wisdom with the profound view of suchness.
Absolutely. And maybe just to leave you with a final thought to chew on, given how these ancient philosophical questions are popping up again, finding surprising new life in fields like AI and quantum physics, what new questions, maybe even what new branches of philosophy might we expect to see emerge? As humanity keeps grappling with, well, ever more complex realities and knowledge, how will our idea of wisdom itself evolve next?